Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yes. Last thing I talked about last time was electron domain. Remember the word? Electron domain. What's the electron domain? What's the meaning of electron domain? Electron domain is how the electrons are around a certain element. If there is any certain element, that's why I call it A, which has no meaning. It is an element, whatever element that I'm talking about. And then I use B and then E with it. What's B?
Number of bonds.
B is number of bonds. B, number of bonds. Number of bonds? No, it's not number of bonds. It's actually bonds in general, not number, but bonds, whether it is single bond or double bond or triple bond, still all of this will be 1, B1. Okay, and what's E?
The dots.
What?
The dot around the element, electrons.
Oh. What is it called? Unshared pair. Unshared pair. These are called bonding pairs. These are called bonding pair. We have one bonding pair here. How many bonding pair we have in the second one? How many bonding pair we have in double bond? Hello?
2.
How many in triple bond?
3.
And these are called bonding pairs. Bonding pair. Bonding pairs will give it B1 for any one of them. All right. And unshared pair, we're going to call it just E.
Lone pair.
E. Okay. And that's why for PCl5, if I want to make a short or electron domain of B, what is it? AB what?
E.
5.
5 E
0.
0. Very good. But for XE F4, if I want to write A for the XE, then how many B's are there?
4.
4. And how many E's?
2.
2. What's the total?
6.
6.
What's the total here?
5.
5. If I want to make my A as the F, then what is the electron domain for this F?
B1.
Yes?
E3.
Easy.
E3. So what's the total?
4.
4. Fantastic. I'll take this away. I hope you keep this in mind and you still remember it. Very important. Very good. Next. Now, according to B plus N, N plus M, which is the numbers here, we have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. If it is 2, what will be the shape of the molecule?
Linear.
This is called electron domain shape. Electron domain shape. What will be the electron domain shape?
Linear.
Linear. Very good. You have to memorize this. What's the angle?
180.
180.
Exactly.
180.
If it's 3,
Triangle.
try
Triangle.
Trigonal.
trigonal. Oh, sorry, yes, it's not triangle. I'm wrong when I say triangles. Not right. I should say trigonal. Trigonal what? Trigonal
One.
plan.
One.
What's the angle?
120.
120.
120. You have to memorize this. If it's 4, what is it?
Tetra.
Tetra.
Hydra.
What?
Hydral.
Tetrahedral. Tetrahedral. You have to memorize the name. What's the angle?
109.5.
109.5. You must memorize this angle. If it's 5,
Trigonal pyramid.
trigonal bipyramid. Trigonal bipyramid. Okay. You have to memorize the name and memorize the name very well. What's the angle?
One
90 and
20.
120.
2 angles. 90 and
120.
120. Excellent. How about if it's 6?
Octahedral.
Octahedral. And what's the angle?
90.
90. Yes. You must memorize this word. All right. What I did, okay, that's before that. This is the shape straight. So what's the electron domain for this shape, for the electrons here? What's the electron domain here? It's
Linear.
2, and the electron domain is, the shape is linear. The electron domain shape is linear, but the electron domain is 2. What's the electron domain in this shape?
3.
3. And the shape?
Trigonal.
Triangle.
Triangle.
Trigonal planar. Trigonal planar. And the straight. Okay. What's the electron domain in here?
Tetrahedral.
No, I'm asking what's the electron domain. You should give me
4.
number. 4.
4.
Exactly.
4.
What's the shape of the electron domain?
Tetrahedral.
And what's the angle?
109.5.
Okay. What's the electron domain in here?
5.
5. Exactly. What's the shape? Name. The electron domain shape name.
Trigonal
bipyramid.
bipyramid.
By a pyramid. Triangle.
Trigonal bipyramid. Okay, what are the important angles? What's the angle in here?
120 and 90.
No, this angle, what is it?
90.
Yes, 9. What's the angle in here?
120.
120. So we have 2 important angles, 190 and 120 and 90. Excellent. What's the electron domain in here?
6.
6.
What's the name of the shape?
Octahedral.
And what's the angle?
9.
Only 90. You have to memorize these extremely well. Extremely well. Okay. To help you, I made a table. Okay. So this is available in what's called chapter 9 to 13 extra. If you go to the blackboard, to the if you go to the blackboard, and go to chapter 9 to 13 extra. I put this in one of the course content. And this thing, I made it myself, so it's my work. All right? So you will find that the thing is, this is called, what's the name of the theory?
VSEPR.
I know, give me a full name.
Shell.
Electron pair repulsion theory. What's A? The atom that you're talking about, the central atom, has no meaning. It's the atom that you're talking about, that's all. What's B then? Bonding pairs, whether it is single or double or triple. Good. What's E?
Unshared
electron.
Unshared electron pair. Even if it's a single bond, single unpaired electron, it will be the same. It will be considered to be N. Like for example, this molecule. If it's a single electron, what's the shape electron domain around N? What is it? A for N. A be what?
AB2.
B1. Double bond is still B1. E what?
E2.
A2.
How about for oxygen? It's A.
B1.
B1.
1.
E2.
E2 also. Is this clear? Okay. How about this thing? How about for this N?
AB1, E1.
AB1, E1, and this O.
AB1, E1.
AB1, E1 also, exactly. Is this clear? So whether it is one electron or two electrons, the same. Good. Next. Next, we're going to talk about, at the end of the chapter, we're going to talk about valence bond theory and hybridization. And I want you to look at, oh, this is the shape. What's the electron domain in here? Quickly.
2.
Here.
link
3.
triangle
Here.
4.
6 4 5 6.
Okay, I put you here in the electron domain. I'll show you also the shape of the. You can watch the videos here. I'm not going to spend time because it will take time. But this will show you what's the tetrahedral shape. This will show you the trigonal bipyramid shape. Go ahead at home and watch it. It's very interesting to see how the shape exactly. And this is the octahedral shape. At home, not now. You can see it in the available in extra. If you go to extra, you'll find it. Okay. But I made this table. I want you today to sit down and memorize everything in this table. Everything. All right? Can you see the table?
Yes.
Okay. Now, first thing I start with is the electron domain. Electron domain is to write AB2, E1, AB2. So what's the electron domain in the first one? 2. So what will be the shape?
Linear.
Linear or straight? Linear, no problem. Okay, what's the electron domain in the second? I'll put numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Triagonal.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What's the electron domain in 2?
Triagonal. 3.
AB3.
This is by, oh yes, I wrote triangle. I will change it today and make it trigonal planar. It's much better word, trigonal planar. Okay. Then, how about 3? What's the electron domain?
Trigonal planar.
Also 3.
This is electron domain shaped triangle. Okay. In AB4 it is tetrahedral. AB4. This one, what's the total? 3 plus 1 is what?
4.
4.
What's the shape? Tetrahedral. How about 2 plus 2?
4.
How about 5?
5.
Trigonal bipyramid. How about this one? What's the total? 5. How about this one? 5. How about this one? 5.
Five.
What's the shape if we have 5?
Trigonal bipyramid.
Bipyramid. This is the electron domain shape. Electron domain shape. Now, how about 6? This one is 6.
Octahedral.
6. The shape is octahedral. Okay. So the shape that you're seeing here beside this number is the electron domain shape. Electron domain shape. Okay. If there is all atoms, we can see it as it is. So the straight or linear, it will be the same name, straight. When you go to AB3, there is no E, then we will see triangle or trigonal planar. We will see trigonal planar, triangle here. Okay. When you go to AB2, E1, this one, all right, then this is trigonal planar or triangle is the electron domain shape. But the problem, E we cannot see. E we cannot see. Let me show you. I'll stop the show here. I'll go back to yes. Good. Let's go to here. I'll show you now. So if we have AB3, AB3, E0, what's the total B plus N?
3.
3. What's the shape?
Triagonal.
Trigonal.
Planar. All right, regular plan. What's the shape? If we have this is the atom, there will be, this is the shape. What will be the angle in here?
120.
120.
120. You have to memorize this. Now, if I have A, B, 2, E1, like for example, SO2. What's the electron domain for SO2?
3.
3. So what should be the electron domain shape?
Trigonal planar.
This is electron domain shape. Okay, what is it? Same thing. Trigonal planar. Is this clear? Now,
Yes.
the problem we cannot see in the molecular shape this is the molecular shape. The problem we cannot see the electrons by the electron by the by X-ray or whatever. So we will see the electron like this. And in this case, we will not be able to see trigonal planar. What are we going to see?
V.
We're going to see V shape or bent. What will be the angle in here?
$120.
Should be 120. The problem is the electrons take more space than the bond. And as a result, this will be slightly less than 120. Is
When
this?
the
It will be 117, about 118, but very close to 120, about 118, about 118. Okay. Are you following? Let's go back to the table. Back to this table. If we have AB3, then the shape of the electron domain is trigonal planar, and the shape of the molecule is trigonal planar. Example in O3. In O3, this is the example, NO3, all right? So it is trigonal planar, okay? But if you go to AB2E1, the shape is trigonal planar for the electron domain, but the molecular shape will be V shape or bent, like SO2. Why? Because we cannot see the electrons. Is this clear? Good. One, if we have AB4 E0, what's the electron domain shape?
4.
Electron domain is 4, and what's the shape?
Tetrahedron.
Tetrahedron.
Hydra, tetrahedral. Okay, and it's actually the best example is CH4. And you should know that. What's the angle in here?
109.5.
What's the angle in here?
Let's see.
109.5 exactly, but you cannot see it. It's not easy to see in this, in the two-dimensional. You have to see it three-dimensional. Good. If you go to, for example, NH3, N, H, or F, no problem, F. So what's the electron domain?
What?
AB what?
AB3.
E,
E1.
E1. What's the electron domain? Shape. The electron domain is 4. What's the shape of the electron domain?
Tetrahedron.
Tetrahedral.
You should know this. Good. But again, we cannot see the electrons in the shape. So what will be the molecular shape now? Molecular
Pyramid.
will be pyramid. Trigonal pyramid. You have to memorize the name. What will be the angle in here?
One 20, 90.
This is 120. No.
109.
Yes. It's not 109.5. It should be what?
Less.
Less than.
109.5. It's actually close to 107. Is this clear? Very good. Now, let's do something else. Let's do now. O, H, what's the electron domain of oxygen? AB what?
2 2
AB2, E2, what's the total?
4
4. What's the electron domain shape?
tetrahedral
Tetrahedral. Electron domain shape is tetrahedral. What's the molecular shape? We cannot see the electrons, so we're going to see something like this, and like this, and these electrons we cannot see. They're there. What will be the shape then?
V
V shape or
bent
bent. And what will be the angle?
less than 1
It will be less than even 107. It's less than 109.5. So the angle will be 105. 105. Is this clear? You remember in SO2, which was one electron, what's the molecular shape? V shape or bent, but what's the angle?
Less than 180. 120.
120, exactly. I hope this is clear. Good. So let's go now to 5. If we have 5, then what's the electron domain shape?
Trigonal bipyramid.
Trigonal bipyramid. This is the electron domain shape. I want to see what's the shape of the molecule. Shape of the molecule, which are all of these. Okay? Examples. If we have P, Cl, 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 Cl. What's the electron domain?
5.
AP,
5
5E,
0.
0. What will be the shape of the molecule?
trigonal fiber
Trigonal bipyramid. Trigonal bipyramid. What will be the angle in here? Yes?
120.
Yeah. What's the angle here?
90.
That's
Right.
Nice.
This. Good. And what's the molecular shape?
Same thing.
Trigonal.
Same. Molecular shape, trigonal bipyramid. Trigonal bipyramid. Good. How about if we have AB4, or let me give you an example better. How about if we have PR? What's the electron domain for this molecule? AB4,
AB4. E1.
E1. What's the total? 5.
5.
What's the name of the electron domain shape?
Trigonal bipyramid.
Very good. But what can we see? We cannot see the electrons. So what are we going to see? We're going to see a shape. I want to memorize the name. It's called seesaw. seesaw. What's the seesaw? مرجحة الأطفال. لما نحط أطفال على مرجحة زي كده. الطفل هنا والطفل هنا. تعرفون هذه اللعبة؟
أكيد.
أعرف إن الدكتور يسمون ذي.
ايش نسميها بالعربي والله ما اعرف اسمها. ارجوحه يمكن.
مرجيحة.
لا ما هي مرجيحه، اعتقد انها شيء ثاني. يمكن هذه ارجوحه والله ما ادري. اسمها بالانجليزي سيسو. يو هاف تو ميمورايز ذا نيم. اللي هي لعبه الاطفال هذه. طفل هنا وطفل هنا وواحد يطلع وواحد ينزل. واضح؟ Very good, very good. All right, let's go to Zenon. Oh, I want to notice that we take the electron from the plane, not from the top or bottom. واضح يا شباب؟ I put the electrons here. So that still, what's the angle in here?
$120.
No. هذا الفوق مع السطح. 120 F. What is it? It's 90. This is 90, but it will be slightly less than 90. What's this angle?
less than 180.
Sound 120.
We have two important angles, 120 and 90. Then this will be slightly less than 90, and this will be slightly less than 120. That's all. Same angles, but because the electrons take more space, then it will be this slightly less than 120, and this one slightly less than 90. Is this clear?
طيب دكتورة باوند اند شير اللي بجنب البي ار.
Shape, as you can see here, PCL5, and then CSO4. It's SF4. Keep this in mind. SF4. Next, if I have all of this is available in the table, but I'm trying to explain it. That's all. Now, BR F3. What's the electron domain?
AB3, E2.
What's the total?
5.
What's the shape of the electron domain?
Trigonal bipyramid.
Yes, but what's the shape of the molecule?
T-shape.
T-shape, exactly. T-shape. What's the angle in here?
90.
90, but it should be what?
Less than.
Less than 90. This is easy. Next. What's the electron domain shape? Letters. A, B, what?
AB2. B3.
3. What's the shape of the electron domain?
Trigonal pyramid.
Bipyramid.
Bipyramid.
Bipyramid. What's the shape of the molecule?
Straight.
Straight or
Linear.
or straight, exactly. And now the electrons are from everywhere. So what's the angle in this case? In this case,
180.
exactly 180, because the electrons are from everywhere by the same. They're putting the same pressure. Is this clear? I hope so. Good. Finish with this one. They're all available in the table. The
Doctor,
next, yeah,
so the molecular shape, we find it by drawing.
yes, or you memorize it. It's up to you. What's the electron domain for this molecule?
AB6.
A, B, 6, E,
E0.
0.
What's the electron domain shape?
Tetrahedra.
Octahedra.
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 What's the molecular shape?
Also octahedra.
Also octahedral. Exactly. Also octahedral. Very good. Now, let's go to I. This is square. This is a square. All right? And I'll put one up and nothing here. Electron. So, what's the electron domain for this molecule?
6.
AB,
AB5.
5,
E1.
E, what?
1.
1, exactly. What's the total?
6.
What's the electron domain shape?
Octahedra.
But what can we see? We cannot see the electrons. What are you going to see?
Trigonal bipyramid.
No, square. It's a square. Down there, it's square. But there is one up, and that's why this is square pyramid. هرم مربع. هرم رباعي. All right? Clear? Very good. And the last one we're going to see is xenon F. Oh, by the way, what's the angle in here?
90.
Less
Slightly.
than 90.
Yeah, what's the angle in here?
120.
No.
Also less than 90.
And 90, the angles in octahedra is all 90. You have to memorize these angles as well. Very good. What's the electron domain for xenon F4?
AB4.
AB4, E,
2.
2.
what's the total?
6.
What's the name of the electron domain?
Octahedral.
Octahedral. Octahedral. But what are you going to see?
Square.
Only square, exactly. And the electrons are from the top and from the bottom. So what will be the angle in here?
90.
Exactly 90. Not less or anything. Exactly 90, because the pressure from both sides. Is this clear? All of this that I just said is available in this table. You have to memorize. So we talked about electron domain shape, molecular shape, and the angle, and the example. All of this I already talked about. Next, I'm going to talk about polarity. Polarity. Okay? What's the meaning of polarity? What's the meaning?
The construction of the
Is there charge?
compound.
Is there charge or no charge? All right? Okay. What's the polarity? We talked about it in chapter 8. You forgot? If we have
Yes,
something like CO2, we have the polarity. We can draw it by arrows like this. And in this case, we say that each bond is what?
Partial charge.
is polar.
But
Each bond is polar. E double bond O, double bond O. All right. Each, the polarity is like this and like this. Now, each bond is what?
Polar.
Polar. But the molecule
Polar.
is non-polar. Why? What?
One cancel the other.
One cancel the other. The forces cancel each other. All right. Another example. Let's talk about NO3. N double bond O, O, O. Again, each bond is polar. So this is polar, and this is polar. Of course, before we go into the polar, what's the electron domain for NO3? It's A, B,
3,
3E,
0.
0.
2. So what's the total?
It's AB4.
No, AB3. The double bond and single bond are B1. So what's
Okay.
the molecule?
trigonal.
Huh? AB3
Trigonal.
molecule. What's the shape of electron domain? Trigonal, planar.
Planar.
What's the shape of the I think
Molecule.
Molecule shape.
what's the shape of the molecule? Same.
Also same.
Yes, because we see it. Okay. In this case, we say that each bond is what?
Polar.
Polar.
But molecule
Is not non-polar.
is non-polar. They cancel each other again. Clear? But let's look at this one. Now, what's electron domain? Quickly.
AB3.
AB2. AB2.
E1.
E1.
E1. So what's the electron domain? Shape.
trigonal. planar.
What's the
Trigonal
shape
planar.
of the molecule?
V shape.
V shape. Don't forget this. I want you to memorize it. V shape. Is this polar or non-polar? We have one force here and one force here. Each bond is what?
Polar.
Each bond is polar. How about the molecule?
Polar.
No, it's
Polar.
polar.
No,
So
it's polar.
why? Because the
They do
force-
not cancel each other.
They don't cancel each other. Exactly. Is this clear? All right. How about
Yes.
Doctor,
yes?
what about the lone pair? Does it affect or no?
No, it has no effect on polarity. That's why forget it almost.
Okay.
Okay. This shape is AB4 E0. Shape is tetrahedral. Again, the force is like this. Is this polar or non-polar? The molecule is
None.
It's
Non-
polar. Non-polar.
non-polar.
Why is it non-polar, doctor?
I'll tell you, it's not easy to see because it's 3-dimension. If you think 3-dimension, you can do it, but I'll tell you later on why it's non-polar. Anyway, let's go to the next one, which is NH3 or NF3. And again, here is two electrons that you cannot see. What's the electron domain for this one? It's AB3E what?
E1.
What's the shape? What's the shape of electron domain?
Tetrahedral.
Tetrahedral.
What's the shape of the molecule?
T.
Trigonal.
Pyramid.
Trigonal pyramid. Is this clear? Trigonal pyramid. Don't forget this. Okay. Is the molecule polar or non-polar?
Polar.
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 Polar. They don't cancel each other. Same thing with water. Yeah. What's the electron domain of water? AB
2.
2E
2.
2.
2. Okay. What's the electron domain shape? Electron domain shape.
Tetrahedral.
Tetrahedral. What's the shape of the molecule?
V shape.
V
B
shape.
or bench.
Is this polar or non-polar, the molecule?
Polar.
Polar molecule. Polar. So water is polar. Don't forget this. Good. Now, I'll give you a rule. This table is very, very important. Whenever E is 0, the molecule will be automatically what?
Non-polar.
Non-polar.
Electron shape.
Non-polar. Okay? E0, non-polar. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one. This is E0, this is E0. If it's E0, non-polar. If it is E0, non-polar. Is this clear? So, this is,
Yes.
in addition to these, there are two which are non-polar. You have to be careful with the other two. Only, so you can see that number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2, number 4, number 7, number 11 are non-polar. Why?
Forces
E0.
cancel each other.
E, there are also two molecules which are non-polar, even though E is not 0, which is number 10 and number 13. These are also non-polar and non-polar. The rest are what?
Polar.
The others are polar. So we can tell now the polarity. You have to memorize this table. You have to memorize this table. Is this clear? Okay, I'll give you
Yes.
example. This.
Clear.
So let's go. I'll stop this show now. Okay, let's go to example. This is what I discussed for you. This is the shape and how the seesaw, the T shape, the linear. Okay, determine the shape of these molecules. What's the shape of the SO3 molecule? First, write the electron domain. What's the electron domain?
AB3.
AB3, E
E0.
what? E0. Very good. So what's the electron domain shape?
Trigonal planar.
Trigonal planar. Very good. What's the molecular shape?
Same.
Same. Trigonal planar. And I can, this is O, O, O. What will be the angle in here?
120.
120.
Is this going to be polar or non-polar?
Non-polar.
Non-polar.
Non-polar. Fantastic. Non-polar. Okay, how about this? What's the electron domain for this molecule?
AB4,
AB4,
E2,
E2. What's the electron domain shape?
octahedral,
Octahedral. What's the molecular shape?
square,
Square.
It's actually, yes, it is square. It is square. Clear? Very good. What is the angle? The shape is actually I, CL, CL.
Less than 90.
90.
Then,
Square
no,
90
No,
exactly.
it's just 90.
exactly 90, because the electrons are from both sides, and that's why this stays as 90. Memorize this in the table. Okay, next, is it polar or non-polar?
non-polar,
Non-polar.
Yes, it is also non-polar. It is one of the which are non-polar in the table, if you remember the table. Good. Questions? Good. See, that's how the bond become bigger. If you have double bond or electron pair like this. So this was electron pair in here. If we have double bond, what happened? This is, what's the electron domain for this one?
AB4.
Oh, AB what?
C.
AB3, E what?
0.
0. What's the shape of the molecule?
Triangle.
Trigonal?
Trigonal.
Trigonal planar.
Trigonal
Planar.
planar. What should be the angle between them?
120.
120.
But the double bond take more space, and that's why, what's the angle in here?
122.
And this one, you don't have to memorize these numbers. But I want you to tell me that this is greater than 120, and this is less than 120. Why is that? Why it became greater than 120? Because the
Double bond.
take what? More space. Okay. What's the, if this is electrons here, what's the electron domain for SF4?
AB4, E1.
E1. What's the molecular, the electron domain shape?
Trigonal bipyramid.
Trigonal bipyramid. Okay. What's the molecular shape?
Seesaw.
Seesaw.
So excellent. See, so what should be the angle between these two? Should be what?
180, more than
120.
Less.
It should be less than 120. Don't memorize the other numbers like this one. And what's the bond from the top one to the bottom one? It should be what?
Less than 90.
This one is 180. It's between this one and this one is 90. From here to here is 90, and also from here to here is also 90. The total should be 180. But because of the electron domain, what will happen? It will be what?
Less than 180.
Less than 180. It is actually 173.1, but don't memorize this number. Just memorize it's less than 180. Good. Now, here is electrons. What's the electron domain for BRF5? Quickly. AB.
AB5 was easier.
No, E1. I put electron here. Electron domain. What's the electron domain shape?
Octahedral.
Very good. What is what's the molecular shape?
same.
Square pyramid.
Yes, square pyramid. Exactly. It's square pyramid. The shape is square pyramid. And is this polar or non-polar?
Non-polar.
Polar.
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 Symbolize the cable, polar. Polar. This is clear. Okay. Okay, very good. Next, what's the shape around the oxygen? What's the electron domain of oxygen?
2, 2.
A, B, what?
2.
Heavy too.
E2.
E2.
What's the electron domain shape?
Ben,
Tetrahedral.
Tetrahedral.
But what are we going to see? The molecular shape.
Linear.
V shape.
Tetrahedral is the electron domain, but we're going to see V shape. What will be the angle between this one and this one?
This
This
109.
Less than 109.5. Excellent. Good. All right. What's the electron domain for the carbon?
Before E0.
AB4, E what?
0.
0. What's the electron domain shape?
Tetrahedral.
Tetrahedral. What's the actual shape?
Also tetrahedral.
The same.
Same. Tetrahedral. What's the angle?
109.
9.5. Now, I just want to tell you one small thing. Whenever you change the atom, these are called terminal atoms to the carbon, right? These are terminal atoms to the carbon. Now, if the terminal atoms are different, like for example, this one, I told you this is AB4, AB4, E0. Is this polar or non-polar? This one?
Non-polar.
Non-polar.
Non-polar. But when you change the terminal atom, things are not easy, and then everything will be polar. Yeah, now, around this carbon, is this polar or non-polar around this carbon?
Polar.
Polar. Why? Because the terminal atom
It's not the same.
must be the same for non-polar. If you change the terminal atom, then it will be polar. Is this clear? Yes. Okay. Now, let's look at something else. Like, for example, this molecule. Is this the cis? This is called a trans shape, and this is called cis shape. Is this polar or non-polar? The trans shape. Is it polar or non-polar?
non-polar.
Polar. Why?
One cancel the other.
Yes. This one cancel this one. This one cancel this one. But look at the cis shape. Does this cancel this one?
Polar.
Does this cancel this one? No.
No.
Add to each other. And this one, add to this one. So this is polar. Is this clear? Next. Now we're going to talk about a theory called valence bond theory. Valence bond theory. And I'll go back to our intro. I'll go back to our table, which is so we already talked about all these lines. We talked about this line. We talked about this, we talked about this, we talked about this, we talked about this, we talked about this. Now, and of course the example, I gave you the examples. Now I'm going to talk about this thing. Now, when we have, it depends on, don't forget, what's the total here is 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6. What's this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 6.
The total of bonding pairs.
No, this is the electron domain total. Electron domain total, right? Depending on the electron domain total, the orbitals will mix together in a way. If we have 2, it will always give you sp, 1s with 1p only, to make 2. If we have 3, like this one, we're going to have 1s with 2p. If we have 4, like this one, we're going to have s with 3p. S and p. I'll tell you, explain to you in maybe next lecture what do I mean by this mixing. Okay? And if we have 3, we have s plus what? 2p. And this one is s plus, always depend on 3. You make 3 orbitals, but you start with s and then you add p to it. And then 3, we have s plus 2p, and we write it sp orbital. The mixing, we write it sp. If we have 3, we write sp what? 2. If it's 3, what do we write? sp 2. If it's 4, then we take s and p and take 3 to make them 4. 1 from s and 3 from p to make 4. Now, when we have 4 here, also sp3, 1 and 3. How about 4, 1 and 3? When we go to 5, what are we going to mix? 1 from s. How many you can have maximum of p?
3.
3. And so we need what? 1 more we'll take from D. And that's why the hybridization will be sp3d1. Okay? This one is 5, sp3d1. 5, sp3d1. 5, sp3d1. If you go to 6, then what will happen?
Add D.
What? You need to mix 1s with 3p with 2d to make it 6. I want you also to memorize the meaning. What's the meaning of hybridization, by the way?
تهجين.
تهجين بالضبط. It is in Arabic تهجين, and I'm going to call it in English mixing. Or, yes, somebody said this is good word, تهجين. تهجين. Okay, so without thinking, if we have 2, what will be تهجين of 2?
SP.
SP. Why SP? Why SP? 1 from S and 1 from P. Clear? Depends on the electron domain. What's the electron domain in here? 3. What will be the hybridization? تهجين. S.
3.
P. What?
2.
2. SP2. What will be التهجين هنا?
SP2.
SP2 also. If you have 4, it's التهجين.
SP3.
3. How about this one? AB3E1.
A.
Also. SP3.
SP3.
Yes.
How about AB2E2?
Also SP3.
SP3. You have to memorize this. This is very easy. As I said, this table you have to memorize everything in it. Very good. How about this one? SP3D1. You don't have to write the 1. SP3D. Now, if we write SP3D, what does that mean? It's 5 total. How about this one? AB4E1.
Also the same.
Same. How about this one?
Same.
SP3D. Very good. How about this one?
SP3D.
How about this one? AB6.
SP3D2.
SP3D2. Very good. How about this one?
The same.
How about the last one?
The same also.
I hope this is clear. Let's have some examples. Okay. If I have this molecule, what's the electron domain of this molecule?
Octahedral.
AB4
E2.
E2. What's the shape of the electron domain?
Octahedral.
Octahedral. What's the shape of the molecule?
Square.
Square, simple square. You have to memorize this. What's the angle in here?
90.
90. This is exactly 90.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Why? Because electrons from both sides. Okay. Is this polar or non-polar?
Non-polar.
Non-polar. If the terminal is the same, if I change any of the atoms, like for example, if I put here instead of F, I put Cl, is this going to be polar or non-polar?
Polar.
Polar. Once you see the difference in atoms, then it is polar right away. But if it's the same terminal, then this is non-polar. Good. What's the hybridization of Xe?
SP3D2.
Yes, fantastic. SP3D2, fantastic. Good. Okay, again, what's the electron domain for this molecule?
AB2, E1.
AB2, E1.
E1, exactly. What's the shape of the electron domain?
Trigonal
Triangle.
planar.
Trigonal, just trigonal.
Trigonal planar, trigonal planar, exactly. Trigonal planar. Very good. Okay, what's the angle in here?
Less than 120.
Is it polar or non-polar?
Polar.
Polar. Very good. Now, what's the hybridization of the S?
SP2.
SP2.
Two.
Fantastic. Why? Because this one is plus this one is equal to what?
3.
3, and 3 is SP2. Next, let's talk about this oxygen.
V shape, right, doctor?
What?
The molecular shape.
It will be V shape, yes,
Okay.
or bent. Very good. What's the electron domain of oxygen? This oxygen.
AB2, E2.
1,
AB1, E2.
AB1, E2.
2. What's the electron domain shape?
Trigonal planar.
Planar, but we don't see it. I don't care about it. Now, my question is, what's the hybridization of the oxygen?
SP2.
SP2, why?
Because it's 3 total.
Plus 2 is equal to 3, and 3 is SP2. Very good. Now, What's the hybridization of this oxygen? First, what's the electron domain of this oxygen now?
Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
E3. AB1, E3.
AB1,
E,
E3.
E3.
E3. So what's the hybridization of this oxygen?
SB3.
D3.
The total is 4, so it is sp3. Clear? Very good. Let's have this molecule. Okay. Okay, what's the electron domain shape? Quickly.
AB4,
Diagonal.
AB4,
E1.
E1. Fantastic. What's the shape of the electron domain?
Trigonal
Trigonal.
bipyramid.
What's the shape of the molecule?
CISO.
CISO. Very good. CISO. Is this polar or non-polar?
Polar.
Polar.
You have to memorize this from the table. What's the hybridization of Br?
SP3D.
3D1.
What's the total first here?
5.
Five.
5.
What is the hybridization?
SP3D. 1.
One, you don't have to write. They don't write one. Very good. So it's P3D. Is this clear? Good. Let's take any fluorine. What's the electron domain of the fluorine?
AB1,
A.
E3.
E what?
3.
3. What's the hybridization of the fluorine?
SP3.
SP3. Fantastic. So, as I said, this table, sit down today, not tomorrow, and memorize everything in this table. Everything. Okay? And we will continue the discussion. We will finish chapter 9 next lecture by discussing mainly this table still. Is this clear? So this table is extremely important, and you have the example. Try to draw the shape of the examples. All these examples, you should be able to draw their shape, write the electron domain, find the electron domain shape, the molecular shape, and everything. The angles, the polarity, the hybridization, and the examples like this. Clear? Any questions so far? Of course, you know about the final exam now. It will be on Tuesday, 27th of April. So we have about, what, 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now.
Doctor, what is the material?
What's the material? Everything.
From chapter 1?
Comprehensive, but about almost 80% from the last 6 chapters and 20% from the first 6 chapters.
Okay, thank you.
I will send you this information by Blackboard about the final exam and how many questions and all this information and where is the material, which part is covered, and so on and so forth. But of course, today we have a quiz on chapter 8, and I'm thinking to make the quiz in chapter 9 Monday, not Wednesday, because Wednesday will be Ramadan.
دكتور
والله يعطيك العافية.
دكتور مضغوطين والله دكتور. وينزداي افضل.
ايش؟
The attendance. وينزداي افضل. في
No problem in Ramadan.
رمضان عادي دكتور نختبر فيه.
عادي الاثنين كمان عادي دكتور.
طيب انا فتحت الاتندنس الان. Okay, the attendance is on. Take attendance. Okay, then I just said this.
دكتور.
You have a quiz in chapter 8. Be prepared for it.
دكتور.
نعم.
هل هو اكيد ان الماتيريال الكامل كله بيكون في الفاينل؟
ايه شلون؟ انا قلت لك الان.
اي بس يعني حتى اللي اخذناه في المد بيكون معنا.
نعم.
دكتور
ممكن
هل راح
كثير.
يكون نسبة أكبر على آخر شباتر؟
قلت لكم انا اوريدي، ولكن لسه ما هو اوفيشال، هذا كلام عام. تقريبا 3/4 المنهج على الجديد، على الاخر 6 شابترز، والربع او اقل من الربع على القديم. بس انا كل هذه المعلومات برسلها لكم على البلاك بورد اليوم ان شاء الله، ولبكره بعطيكم المعلومات كامله ان شاء الله.
كم سؤال طيب يمكن يكون؟
كلها هي المعلومات اليوم بتجيكم على البلاك بورد عن طريق الكوردينيتد كورس. انتم عندنا في شيء اسمه كوردينيتد كورس، تعرفونه؟
ايه امس نزل
إيه.
كل الطلاب مو بس لكم.
متى لو فسور حقتك دكتور؟
انا الساعه 11.
لين الساعة 11 ولا تبدأ الساعة 11؟
لا 11 بس.
دكتور
الآن احنا باقي لنا اختبارين صح؟
باقي 2 كويزز عندنا والفاينل اللي قدام. بس انا باقي على 2 كويزز، احنا مو 3 بس احاول نخلص في 2 ان شاء الله.
دكتور
نعم.
ليش ما وضعوا اختبار الكيمستري بعد الماث؟ ليش الماث متأخر والكيمستري متقدم؟
والله هذا السؤال اسال الريجسترار، مو لا تسالني، هذا يحطه المسجل الجامعه، احنا ما لنا علاقه بالفاينل.
ده مسكة.
دكتور الفاينل 40 صح؟
نعم.
الفاينل على 40.
الفاينل ايش السؤال؟
الفاينل على 40 صحيح؟
يعني 45% الفاينل.
45 تمام.
ايه هذه كل المعلومات كلها حتجيكم اليوم ان شاء الله. اوكي. وطبعا الفاينل حضوري، تعرفون الكلام هذا.
اي نعم.
ايه
ولازم تسجلون بسرعه، هل تبغون في الرياض ظهران ولا الرياض ولا جده؟
دكتور عبد
يعطيك
الرحمن.
العافية دكتور.
يا هلا الله يوفقك.
دكتور عبد الرحمن. ارسلت لك انا بالواتس بس ما رديت علي، ما ادري اذا
ارسلت يعني ايش؟
عن الكويز الماضي.